Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John Big Dog Wagner coming at you. Tired. I just ran from California out to Indiana, and I'm here at my delivery at Amazon. They got a long line as usual, just trying to get into Amazon. So I figured I might as well knock this video out while I'm here. Yeah, I've been dealing with thunderstorms and rain ever since I guess Texas, Oklahoma. And I was raised on the East Coast, so I think I'd be used to all the thunder and lightning and stuff like that. But most of my life I've been out in California. We ain't got all this kind of weather, so I ain't used to it no more, apparently. Anyway, last week I did a video titled Proof, where I broke down my rate com for my actual load. Went through all the process. And I figured that there's going to be a bunch of people, doing their thing. So I figured I would show how my week ended and what I made. And I figured I could do that the same way that I did the Raycom. Okay. Now, before I get into it, I know all the mathematicians and the wizards are going to come at me and call me a liar and blah, 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 blah. I already know. And the reason why is because I ran 5,000 miles last week. And no, I didn't do any extra time. No, I didn't do no extra hours. No, I didn't do no double shifts. None of that shit. The thing is with Super Ego, your week goes from Monday to Sunday. That's your week. However, if your last load is not delivered by Sunday, you have till Thursday morning to deliver the load and still get it on that statement. So I actually ran 9 days last week. I picked up my first load on Monday, delivered my last load on Tuesday, the following Tuesday. So I had a 9-day work week. Technically, I only had an 8-day work week because I did a 34. Now, I told you guys my truck does 76 miles an hour. When I figure out my numbers, I average it at 70 miles an hour. 70 miles an hour, 10-hour day. For 8 days, it's 5,600 miles. 7 times 8 is 56. And you actually have 11 hours to drive, which makes it 770 miles a day, which puts you over 6,000 miles for that time period. If you want to get a calculator and figure it out. But just doing regular shifts for a 9-day week, taking 1 day out for your 34. Reason why I say 1 day is because let's say you stop on Saturday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you do your 10. When you're done with your 10, you're at midnight. Stay down all day Sunday, midnight to midnight, that's your 34. So you lose 1 day. Okay. So for a 9-day week, I actually worked 8 days with a possible 5,600 miles. I ran, let's see. I ran 5,387 miles. 5,387 miles. So anyway, I got a lot of people in my comments and a lot of people I talk to, and they're, you're lying, you can't make no money at Super Ego. That's all lies. You got to work double shifts to be able to make $500 and all this craziness. Okay. I told you guys that my goal when I break down my loads is to try to get a minimum of $2 a mile. $2 a mile pays me $500 a day. That's what I try to do. Sometimes I got to get a little low on one side to get a better rate on another side, or vice versa. Okay. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna show you my statement so you guys can see that I'm not the one that's been lying. Okay. All right, flip this around. There's a run that I did in the breakdown that says proof to Anaheim to North Carolina, and that was my run back Columbus to Ohio to Lancaster. Okay. First one, 3,184 miles, paid me $6,500. The next one, 2,200 miles, paid me $3,500. Now the second one is not $2 a mile. Clearly, $2 a mile would be $4,406. But I took the hit on this one because I made a lot much more money on this one. Okay, so my total freight gross is $10,000, $6,500 plus $3,500. Okay. Now, my total after they take out 25%, $7,500. 10,000 minus 25%, $7,500. Now in this section, you can see I got my truck payment, trailer payment, cargo insurance. I had to do my new registration. But I also have some invoices from payments. I have a negative balance here, probably from when the truck was in the shop. Negative balance here, another invoice here. My truck payment itself is $1,250, but because of the invoices, they took out a total of $2,800. Okay. And then here's my fuel stops. And from that, they took out a total of $2,012. So that's my fuel. And that's for the truck payment and the repairs and things like that. Now, my payout is right there. $2,686.83. Now keep in mind, my truck payment is only $1,250. So they took out another $1,700 and some dollars out of there. I'm tired, I'm not doing the math. So if I didn't have the negative balances, I didn't have the repairs to pay for, then this number would be over 4,000 for 1 week. For 1 week. But I know that I made money because I did the breakdowns here from the mileage and the freight amount. Okay. Now, there are a lot of people that say they break it down at the end of the week. They don't break it down load by load. Well, if you break it down at the end of the week, that paperwork is already done. It's too late. So if you took a load at $1 a mile, 97 cents a mile, whatever, you're already screwed. You're already screwed. I did this running regular days. No added hours, no double shifts, none of that. Doing regular days. This is what I made. Now you guys are all You're lying. Show me proof. Show me proof. Show me proof. Okay. That's my payout. After truck payment, trailer payment, after repair tickets and things like that, my payout is over 2.5, over 2,500. But you can't make no money at Super Ego. I can. I learned this watching the videos from Alfredo Hammer Down Manning, the same guy who does the orientation at Super Ego. Now, he tells you how to make money. He literally tells you how to make money. You listen to what he says, you learn what he says, you come up with your own version of what he says, break it down so it works for yourself. Because he breaks it down to the last cent. I don't do that. I use round numbers, but I break it down. If you don't break it down, you never know what you're going to make. You never know what you're going to make. So you got to break it down. I broke down that load in the last video, showed you guys I could make money. This is my statement from that load. Showed you guys I made money. Now, shit. I showed you guys that I made money. Now I'm on my next week. Let me back this back out. Ah, crap. Now I'm on my next week. Okay. Picked up a load. California to Indiana. I'm here now. In line. Waiting to deliver at Amazon. And still got rain. Okay. Now this is this load. Weight up to 40,000 pounds. It's actually 30,000. Total loaded miles 2,120 miles. For $5,000. Okay. Now, I told you guys 30,000 and below I consider light load. You get 1,000 miles to a $500 bill. Okay, 30,000 is about where I cut it off at. Why? Because when you're going through those mountains, you ain't gonna get 1,000 miles. When you hit the flatlands, you'll get better than 1,000 miles. My truck right now, you can see it right there. On the current fuel, I got 461 miles on it. If you look up here, I'm not even down to half a tank yet. So, I'm 1,000 miles on a $500 bill with the load I got. The load is 2,120 miles. So basically 2 tanks of fuel. I already had fuel in my truck, so the 120 miles is covered. So $1,000 in fuel. The gross is $5,000. Company gets 25%. 25% of 5,000 is 1,250. That leaves me 3,750. Take out $1,000 for fuel. That leaves me 2,750. Take out 1,250 for my truck payment, and that leaves me 1,500. Today's Friday. So Friday, my truck is paid
Now
for.
turn right and then you will reach your destination.
My truck is paid for, and I already have $1,500 in my pocket. Now I got the weekend. Same thing I showed you last week. Only difference was last week I was starting out on a run paying $6,500. More miles, more fuel. I told you guys in my other videos I average $2,000 a week. My numbers have actually been getting better, as you see. I just showed you a check for $2,600 after all the money's been taken out. And this week, once I deliver this load, I'm already at $1,500 on this Friday. I'm pretty sure I hit $2,000 again this week. I'm pretty sure I'll do better than $2,000 this week. So, you guys wanted proof, you've got your proof. So now you got to ask yourself, if you can actually make money here, then why are there so many people saying you can't? Well, I personally know people that don't break down their loads, and they don't make money. And you try to talk to them, and I've been driving truck for 10, 15, 20 years. I know what I'm doing. Well, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm not a dummy either. And I definitely have common sense. If you're coming to me week after week and saying that you can't make any money, how do you in the same breath tell me you know what you're doing? Unless your goal is to not make money. There's also a lot of people that like to go home. I don't go home that often. Luckily, my kids are grown. And my wife, when she gets her days off, she's willing to fly out to come see me. Spend time with me on the truck. The job is OTR, over the road. If your wheels are not turning, you are not earning. You can't sit back with your feet on the coffee table and watch TV and expect to make money. You can't do it. The problem with today is, like I said, people are entitled and people are not accountable. Nobody's going to get up here and tell you, oh, I just took whatever they gave me and I didn't break it down, so I didn't even know how much money I had in the load to start with. What they're going to tell you is, I ran all week and I didn't make any money. Super Ego scammed me. They're not going to tell you that I got a load and I had 4 days to deliver it, but I wanted to go see baby mama, so I went home for 2 days. They're going to tell you, oh, Super Ego made me run extra clocks and extra time to deliver the load, and I still didn't make any money because I didn't break the load down. If they were going to be honest, that's what they would tell you. And then, because people believe a lie before they believe the truth, they look at all this stuff, listen to all this people say, and they become cheerleaders. You grab the pom-poms, put the skirt on. But yet, when somebody like myself comes out, you want proof. Okay. Now you got proof. I just showed you the numbers. The numbers don't lie. You have to be accountable and you have to be responsible. You have to be willing to break down the numbers. You have to be willing to do the math before you say yes or no to a load. If you don't, it's nobody's fault but your own. If you get a load and you choose not to get on the road, you choose to put your feet up, watch TV, eat your Fritos, it's nobody's fault but your own. If you're going to be big enough, if you're going to be adult enough, if you're going to be man or woman enough to make the decisions that you make, be man or woman enough to admit the decisions that you made, be accountable for the decisions that you made, and if you decide to tell your business, tell it truthfully. I'm nobody special. I'm not. I'm not a NASA rocket scientist. I'm not a physiologist. I ain't got no ologist nowhere near my name. I ain't got no PhDs. I ain't got no degrees. I don't. I got common sense and I work hard. Not the smartest person out there, not the dumbest person out there either. And I can figure this out enough to where I can make money. You go to orientation, if you can't find his videos, if you go to orientation and pay attention, the man tells you what to do to make money. That's where I learned it. The man tells you what to do to make money. But you got people out there that will ask somebody for directions to a gas station, and the person would tell them, 2 blocks, make a left, 2 blocks, make a left, it'll be right in front of you. And the first thing they will do is make a right-hand turn. And then they'll make a video about it. This man over here gave me wrong directions to the gas station. Can't make no money, a super ego. It's a scam. They rip you off. I just showed you over $2,000. Without the payments for the repairs, I'd have been around $4,000. What makes me so special? And there's a lot of other drivers out there that do the same thing that I do. They break down the loads, they get on the road, and they drive them. And they make money. And they make money. Alright, well, like I said, I'm in line, about to deliver this load. And I'm gonna find some place to go crash out for the night. I'm tired. My dispatcher's already working on a pickup for tomorrow. Let's see what happens. 2,000 mile run, he's trying to get $4 grand for it. If he gets it, I'll finish out with a gross of $9 grand. 20,000 pound load is a light load. 2,000 miles. $1,000 in fuel, $1,000 to the company. That leaves me $2,000. I'm already pocketing $1,500 off of this one. That puts me at $3,500 for the week. For take home. After truck. It's that easy. It's that easy. Y'all be good. Be safe out there. Till next time.